Hundreds of teachers and school workers from Miami-Dade County rallied in the streets of Tallahassee today, making a list of demands for state lawmakers.
Tests may become a thing of the past now that the Obama administration calls it wrong to push for so much standardized testing in the classroom.
Do standardized tests truly measure how well our kids perform in school and life? That's what some educators are asking.
When I was in school, I didn't have all of these tests, and I think I'm successful. I think I've done good. And I know many friends of mine who graduated pre all this FSA, pre all the FCAT. We've done well because our teachers focused on teaching us how to think, and we enjoyed learning. Now it's all about testing.
I think that we've lost a lot of what made my education better. So my education, yes, compared to countries in Europe, yes, it was terribly bad. But when I went to school, we were more holistic. We were better people overall because we took classes in the arts, music, humanities. Were stressed, and now there's an entire generation that doesn't see that. Many kids don't even take art or music because they get pulled out for more intensive reading, more intensive help in that, especially in the lower grades.
At a public school in Hamilton, Ohio, President Bush said the new bill marks a departure in the federal approach to education.
We're going to spend more money, more resources, but they'll be directed at methods that work. Not feel-good methods, not sound-good methods, but methods that actually work.
As far as I understand it, No Child Left Behind was meant to illuminate areas where certain students were struggling. So where you might have a school where the majority of kids are doing okay, you might come to the conclusion that the school was doing okay, but No Child Left Behind was meant to kind of target very specifically on the student level to be able to identify where students were struggling and try to uncover that within the larger veneer that a school might be doing well. And part of that was through testing and collecting data. So Florida had to move quickly to develop its new tests after adopting its new state standards. In order to do that, they purchased essentially a set of questions that were created by a company for use in Utah, where student demographics are very different. Why does that matter? There could be questions like that, let's say, refer to moccasins. Most people would think that those are shoes, right? But in Florida, we also have a snake called a water moccasin. So things like location and even the makeup of the student really matter when you're making test questions.
We need more than one day for testing because we just don't have enough computers per grade level. So it becomes days and days and days of kids going to labs, kids being relocated because their labs that they normally have class in are being used, as well as teachers who are monitoring those tests can't be teaching. So as many kids as were in those teachers' classes now have to be doing a different assignment. And so the entire routine that is created with a day-to-day schedule and learning is just disrupted and lost.
The rollout of the new Florida Standardized Assessment Test could be the poster child for testing failure. The computerized exams were plagued by software meltdowns and delays to the extent that results for third graders will not count against their being promoted.
There was also a lot of funding attached to some federal initiatives regarding education, such as Race to the Top. So when the recession was going on and schools were really struggling, the federal government dangled this money in front of school districts that came with requirements such as evaluating teachers. How are you going to evaluate teachers? Through their students' test scores. So a lot of the current ramp up in testing in schools was attached to those programs and the desire to evaluate teachers. I think the reaction kind of built steadily and gradually as parents understood just how much their kids were being tested and the reason behind it. It was no longer solely to diagnose, how well kids were doing, but also as a measure of how well their teachers were performing.
Well, the effect that I've seen, being a father of two kids, 14 and a 13-year-old, just the level of stress. Students understand, just like we as parents understand, it's a gambling act, I guess. It's a end-all, be-all testing. It's how you do that one day. Your performance 179 days a year didn't matter. That 180th, which is the testing day in the middle of the year, that's what matters. If you want to use testing as a diagnostic tool, wonderful. That's how it should be used. If you want to use testing to know where schools are and where districts needs to apply more resources, wonderful. That's what it's to be used for. If you want to use it to punish districts financially, if you want to use it to punish kids, it's wrong. If you want to use it to punish teachers as far as their pay, it's absolutely wrong. Teachers are underpaid as it is. Get it right, do it in a logical way, allow stakeholder input from the parents, the teachers, the students, the superintendents, the ones who are actually implementing the ridiculous at times policies that you implement. Allow us to have a say, and let's move gradually.
I entered the classroom and my computer wasn't working. So like after a few minutes of me sitting down, they took me to another computer. That computer wasn't working either. They had to take me to another classroom, and the code that they first gave me to enter the test, it didn't work. So I had to get another code. That code didn't work. They had to call Tallahassee, and it took about 2 more tries until the code finally worked. And I started the test 40 minutes after everyone else did.
And I try to enjoy myself every day. I do pretty much enjoy myself. Teenagers make me laugh every day. I have 6 classes. This means I have 6 teams to coach. I'm trying to get the best out of them every day, but I think I enjoy it. The pacing guide, it has grown every year, which is suggesting that we should teach more and more every year in less and less time. Just doesn't make sense.
And standardized testing has brought forth a group of educators that I think have lost a certain amount of passion for what they do. There's so much stress put on the students and the teachers to produce test scores that the overall student and the teaching that used to take place that was beyond what the test looked like was lost.
I know a lot of people say that, oh, the test pretty much sums up like how you did the year. Let's say that one day, I don't know, I wasn't feeling well and I had to take the test and I messed up. So right there, that bad grade I got on the test determines what I did the whole year, which I don't see is correct.
But I can tell you that, when I started teaching was exciting, vibrant, interesting. There were so many changes going on, especially during the time that I started becoming a teacher. Every parent's dream is for their child to go to college. And the whole idea of no child left behind never took place. There are many children out there. So kids who graduate in 3rd grade